I'm gonna jump in on it because when I read the story, the first thing that jumped out at me is the fact that the children are failing the subjects that require a certain amount of thinking. So when you read a question, it's a mathematical question, but it's pure English, and you have to deduce from it what you must do and follow a certain logical pattern of thinking, then there's a problem. When you're talking about English, you're talking about comprehension, about reading a text and being able to answer questions that require you to think, to make inferences. You're talking about composition, where the power of creativity comes to play, where your knowledge and the depth of experience comes is what you're bringing to the table. And as soon as those demands are made on the students, then there's a problem. I loved social studies when I was in secondary school, because for me it was one of the easiest things to learn about. Facts are facts, statements are statements. You read it, you understand it. Even if you don't understand it, you memorize it and you shoot out the answers, and so you're good to go, you pass. But then these are the subjects that we're having to think. So it brings us back to the question, how are our children being taught? Are they taught to think? Are they being taught to deduce? Are they being taught to draw inferences? Secondly, are our teachers encouraging, and I've said this so many times, I'm blue in the face talking about it again, are our teachers encouraging the chew and pour system? And so are our teachers lazy? And we've had amazing teachers on this show, and so this is not to say that teachers are not doing a good job. But if you're judged based on your ability to regurgitate, then obviously your thinking muscles are not being exercised. There's a meme that says that your brain is an app, use it. And sometimes I feel like screaming this at teachers and screaming this at students, because clearly there's a problem there. So that's what I want to say. Now, I wish I could say that the WASSCE girls are being taught differently. I went to Wesley Girls, so I won't say that we're taught so differently, and so perhaps it is in the way that we are taught. So the question then is raised again, that is it that the good students are going to particular schools, and based on this inherent ability of the students, we also know that statistics have shown that parents who pour more time into their children's learning, their children do remarkably better. So is it the children's inherent learning ability that's making schools like Wesley Girls excel? Is it the way they are being taught? Is it the parents pouring into their children? So it's difficult for us to actually pinpoint exactly what the problem is. What is clear, though, is the fact that as soon as it comes to thinking, inferences, making logical conclusions, there's a problem.
Now, this weakness that was named in the 2018 Chief Examiner's Report was named again in the 2017 Chief Examiner's Report. So WAEC.org does not have, YGH.org does not have the 2018 Chief Examiner's Report, but I have with me the 2017 Chief Examiner's Report. Weaknesses in mathematics. The Chief Examiner for Mathematics Core 2 listed the following weaknesses of candidates as difficulties in finding the value of a logarithmic expression. I found it difficult finding the value of a logarithmic expression back in the day. But translating word story problems into mathematical statements and solving them. Solving problems involving geometry such as cyclic, quadrilaterals, tangent and chord theory. So, I mean, a lot of this is very technical. But the point being made is that solving probability-related problems, which was listed in the 2018 one, is here again. Translating word problems is here again. So it looks like it is a trend, really. Now, to the point that you were making, Enimo, about why students of certain schools perform well. When students are entering senior high school now, they are admitted based on raw score. So the best students go to the best schools, senior high schools. Where are the best students coming from? Ray.
The private schools, the best of the private schools in the country. Once in a while, you have a Osafomafo who will be able to brave the storm from a village public school and go to...
Or Malik, yes. Go ahead.
And go to, what they call it, Achimota School. And go to Achimota School. That hardly happens consistently. It is for such a reason why we brought in the affirmative action of getting people to participate, especially by saying that, oh, indigenes in your area, because the school is there, you qualify to be part of it. And because you went to not so good a school and yet you made some mark, that's good enough. We should allow you to also participate in going to the good schools. And the thinking we had was that the good schools were made by good teachers. I think that was a false premise. The students were better off from their basic training, and they took it to the senior high schools.
Just inherently smart.
Yes,
Yeah.
and continued from there. So that false thinking, that influenced our idea that when we put the bad students in the good schools, automatically they will do
It
better.
won't work.
It's also where the problem came in. We have failed to fix the basics. One, our basic education is in complete wreck, and we should not forget about that. I mean, nobody who has some small resource will not choose a private school to a public basic school.
Yeah.
Nobody. Because nobody wants a child to fail. And that is basic. You don't even want to reform the system. All that you want to do is get a better school for your child so that they can start a chance of going to a better school, so that it reduces your chance of having your child fall out of the school system and becoming a nobody along the line.
I want the former teacher Malik to comment on this one. But before he comes in, the president of NAGRAT, he's a current teacher, is on the line. Angel Carbonu. Good morning, Mr. Carbonu. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, good morning.
In the first place, what's your reaction to the WASSCE results?
Well, the first thing that I'll say is that the result is not different from the trend that we've had, I'll dare say, for the past 20 years. It is the same trend where students have challenges in English language, core mathematics, and integrated science.
Okay, so we've known this trend for the past 20 years. Is it something that the teaching community feels it can act on and do something to change?
Well, it is a problem that comes from beyond the senior high school. It is the foundation problem where the way children are taught from the foundation. For example, if a child goes to kindergarten and the child is only taught how to rhyme and how to sing songs, and numeracy is not emphasized like literacy. If the child goes to primary school and the emphasis is more on literacy, not numeracy, then you have a situation where the child develops a phobia for figures, hence mathematics and science. And then it affects him or her as he or she goes up the ladder academically. The other issue also is that when your foundation is weak in mathematics, you will find it very difficult to pick it up when you get to the midsection of education, in this case, senior high school. So, for example, if the teachers that you've had in the basic school system themselves have a difficulty in communicating appropriately, so someone can be well educated in math, but if the person does not communicate in a manner that will excite you to be interested in the subject, you begin to develop a phobia for that subject, and that phobia will carry on. Now look at the preference of students in choosing subjects in a senior high school. Most students choose general arts. In fact, people choose general arts and they don't even know what general arts entails. So you have a situation where it is only the fact that he wants to do general arts because he does not want to do science. Because everybody is so scared in the science. Because even in the science department, elective mathematics is compulsory for every science student. So when you go to every senior high school in this country, including the senior high school that we all know is developed for science, science students are in the minority as compared to the general arts students. So it's a problem that did not start today.
So what you're trying to help us understand is that there's a phobia for your sciences and your mathematics,
Yes.
and there's a dearth or a lack in terms of communication, and that's why they are failing these subjects.
Yes, if you do not, and I'm talking about this communication problem at the early stages. If you, I am an example. of a science and math phobia student. I am an example. And if you open the phone lines and allow people to call in, you will see that majority of the people who will call in today will tell you that they are like me, who did not like math. In fact, I jubilated once in school when I heard that my math teacher was sick because I did not like mathematics.
Okay.
Because of the way I was taught math from the basic school level.
Okay, so Mr. Kabonu, do you believe, and I'll ask this again, is this something that teachers can do something about at the senior high school stage, or you believe that it is too late?
No, it can't. Nothing in education can be too late. We will have to identify the problem and find solution to the problem. Maybe we have to change our teaching style of the subject and make the subject more friendly than it is. When we were in school those days, the education system introduced a certain maths book called the JSP. Now, you will see that the type of examples the JSP was given in mathematics were examples of Brodier and Nkatier, and so that the children do not see the examples as abstract. But certain subjects like geometry and all those things, if you do not get them right at the basic level, for example, trapezium, look, the word itself puts the fear of God in people because they do not have those things at the type of basic environment that they find themselves.
So, Mr. Kabonu, whose responsibility would you say it is to begin to consciously change the mindsets of the students in the classrooms about these subjects?
It is the teacher's responsibility. It is the responsibility of the education system. And I'm saying that, this country, we are emphasizing so much on senior high school. That is very wrong. Our emphasis, our strength, our energies will have to go into the basic school and ensure that the basic schools do have resources. For example, the various geometrical gadgets. When you go to a simple basic school in our community, do they have them? Can the teacher show it to the children for them to see that this is a triangle and so on and so forth? If they don't, then we should question ourselves, why don't we have them? Mathematical set. We those in the cities who have our children going to private schools, we buy mathematical sets almost every week because the children need it. But are you sure that when we go to my village, the children even are using math set and are using the set square and are using... So the resources have to be there for the teacher to be able to use the resources and let the student realize that these are not strange things for you. Now, when you go to the basic schools, there is nothing like a science laboratory. So they do not know a beaker. They do not know a pipette. They do not know a tripod stand. It is only when they get to the secondary school that they first see these things. By that time, their minds are already ossified in the things that they understand to be real.
So, Mr. Kabonu, can we really fix this? Looking at the allocation to the education system, looking at how most of the chunk of that money is allocated to the system is used to pay salaries. And there's hardly any space to allocate any more funds to the education system. If we are continuing this, and in the classroom, you paint the picture that there is no solution because there are no resources. Can we really fix our system?
You see, I listened to the lady in your studio talking about the private schools do well and they go to the Wesley Girls and the Fansipans and the Pope Johns and things like that. It is because when you dole out 2,000 Ghana cedis to pay in a private school per term, psychologically, you are prepared to add a little more to ensure that your child passes. For example, in the private school, whilst you have paid 2,000, when they come again and say you are supposed to come and pay 500 for extra classes, parents are ready to pay. Now, when you pay these things in the private schools, the resources are available. Once the resources are available, they are utilized by the students. When you go to the public school, in the first place, politically, you are not supposed to pay. The resources are not there. The psyche is created to mean that the government is providing it. The government is not providing it. So at the end of the day, they don't have these items to study with. The issue is, we have to set our priorities in education right. Can we de-emphasize the resources we send to senior high school and emphasize the sending of those resources to the basic schools, knowing very well that when the foundation of people are strong, those people will be able to pick it up as they move on? Because the nation, the problem, the truth of the matter, and we have to interrogate this, is that we are giving lip service to education financing in Ghana. But the reality of the situation is that the resources are not available or adequate in the various schools.
Right. So, Mr. Kabonu, currently, in the system that we have, if I may ask, is there no sense of responsibility from the teaching community that this is something we are a part of and something we can do something about?
Absolutely, the teacher cannot extricate him or herself from the problem. But the teacher can also do as much as he or she can do based on the available resources to him or her. You all saw, or I think your network brought a teacher who was teaching ICT. ICT is part of science. That teacher do not even have the computer, so he's drawing things and imagining things. How can you expect such a student in that community to compete with a student that goes to Morning Star or Christ the King? What else can the teacher do in that situation, in the teaching of ICT, which is a requirement for the science subject, when the computer is not available? And even if the computer is available, the school is not connected to electricity.
Okay, so again, it moves the responsibility from the teacher, doesn't it? Because again, if the teacher does not have the resources, what you are saying here is that there is nothing that can be done to teach mathematics, to teach English language, and to teach integrated science.
We need to improve our teaching styles. Maybe we are emphasizing too much on the lecture method. You cannot use the lecture method to teach mathematics. Mathematics is more activity-based. So the question is, are we teaching the subject in a way that will excite interest in the student? That's why I'm saying that we cannot extricate ourselves from the problem. We need to improve upon our approach, upon our methods. But you can also, in as much as I'm also calling for teachers to improve upon their approach and their methods, we also expect whoever pays the money, be it the parent or the government, whoever pays the money should ensure that, do you know, my brother, do you know that there are schools in this country that do not have science laboratory? I'm talking about senior high school. They don't have science laboratory. So some of the science equipment that have been donated to them are in boxes. Sometimes some of these schools will have to move to another school to do science practicals. When a school do not have its own science laboratory, the number of times that they can engage in practicals will be very, very minimized. Every science topic ought to be taught with practical activity. But if the school do not have a science laboratory, what else can the school do than to teach the science subject theoretically?
Okay, now, Mr. Kabonu, I have a final question. Pardon me. So my question will be that we hear a lot of advocacy from the point of NAGRAT. I've heard you make these demands on several occasions. In fact, in conversation with me on and off air about how resources are needed for the classroom. What efforts is NAGRAT as an organization making to encourage excellence and innovate teaching styles, new teaching styles among teachers? NAGRAT Corporate, what are we doing?
Well, NAGRAT is a trade union. Its primary and core function is to ensure that the conditions of service of its members is such that they can exonerate themselves creditably in the endeavors that they have chosen, that is the teaching field. But we organize training seminars for our people periodically. But that training seminar that a union can give to its people will not be able to measure up to the type of equipment availability, training, resource that I'm talking about. That ought to be provided either by the beneficiary of education or the government in question. That is how it is going to be. Number two, we talk about standards, that the teacher should meet standards. Have the authorities been able to tell us the standard that we should have in this country to call a school a senior high school? Have we also established a standard that we can call a school a basic school? So that when a school does not have these and that and that and that, it does not meet the standard of Ghana. I get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, for example, when we go to Kaijano in La, the Kaijano La Basic School should meet a certain minimum standard of school block, of school equipment, of school resources, teachers, and classroom sites. Equal to the standard that we have at Christ the King. Equal to the standard that we have at Morning Star. Then the institution itself is met the state standard.
Right.
Then we should also expect a certain standard performance
from the teacher and the students as well. Thank you very much.
You cannot expect a standard performance from the teacher and the student when you have not been able to provide a standard teaching and learning environment.
Thank you very much, Angel Carbonu, for joining us. He's the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT. Interesting thoughts there, Malik, but you had a but you wanted to put in.
Yes, you asked a question about what are the teachers themselves doing to improve upon their method of teaching. And I said, let me just transport the legal term, the NEMO that rule. You cannot give what you don't have.
Okay, I want you to explain the NEMO of that rule when we come back. Stay with us.
Good morning, good morning.
It's the Joy Business Minute with Karen and Daryl.
The Ghana Amalgamated Trust is working to encourage 5 banks it plans recapitalizing to merge. This is captured in a document submitted to Parliament by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta.
Meanwhile, the Finance Minister has confirmed that the 2 billion cedis the Amalgamated Trust is to raise would impact on the total debt stock. He is, however, assuring that measures outlined will mitigate the impact.
A little over 1 million commercial buildings in Accra have not been insured despite numerous distress actions by the National Insurance Commission. Compliance rate in Accra still remains at a record low of 16%.
And on Tuesday, the 19th of March, Joy Business will be holding another financial services forum, this time focusing on the insurance industry. The topic is recapitalizing to grow, a panacea for expansion, penetration, and big business underwriting.
Hoping to see you at the Tank Palace Hotel at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, the 19th of March.
Save the date. See you there.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here? My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer.
What?
My brother is here with kidney disease too. Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Kolebu?
But thanks to Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
Oh, sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling. Yeah. I got a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a feeling. Yeah.
Don't just get up. Wake up every morning with the great taste of Lipton tea. Lipton, #1 tea brand in the world. Source, Euromonitor International.
Providence Insurance, insurance for marine. Providence Insurance, insurance for your motor. Providence Insurance, insurance for your property. Providence Insurance, your future happy days.
With Provident, man, you are covered.
Hooray! I'm celebrating my independence with Citidia Supermarket. Citidia Supermarket gives me the freedom to shop for less. With less money, I get more products. Now that is real freedom.
Visit any Citidia branch near you and shop for less. Celebrate Ghana's independence as you select from a wide variety of made-in-Ghana products from breakfast cereals, snacks, beers, fresh vegetables, canned foods, frozen foods, soft drinks, and many more. Citidia, lower prices, better quality.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential, power. It's time
to make your move.
To take that step.
The time
is now.
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 The great things you do tomorrow start with the small steps you take right now. So take that step with Old Mutual. Call us on 0302-230-638 and make now count. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
Some things give you a key to open doors that don't exist yet. Some things take you a step into another generation, and there are only a few things like that. Samsung is giving you one of such things. The new Samsung Galaxy S10, a future-packed phone with a first-of-its-kind intuitive camera that will let you capture things beyond what the eye can see. So much battery power that you can actually go beyond, and share power, a borderless infinity display that will give you a view into the future beyond. It's time to go beyond this generation, all with one phone. Celebrating 10 years of Galaxy innovation. Make that leap with the Samsung Galaxy S10e, S10, and S10 Plus. Pre-order today and get yourself a free Samsung Galaxy Buds. Terms and conditions apply.
No great story ever begun with, and we stayed at home all day and did nothing. Adventure, that's where great stories are born. Adventure has enough room for friends. It's spacious. Adventure happens in the city and out in the rough. Adventure has your back, front, side, and side. Adventure is affordable and available. Ignite your own adventure with the all-new Renault Duster. With a new sleek design, comfortable drive, 360-degree multi-view camera, hill descent control system, a 1.6-liter efficient and powerful engine, and so much more. Adventure. The all-new Renault Duster is sold and serviced by Premium Motors Limited. Call 0307-079977 or visit the Renault showroom at Atiko Junction on the Kanishi Odoko Road.
Renault. Passion for life.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
And it's 7 minutes past 9 here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Conversation is getting heated. We just wrapped up an interview with Angel Kabonu, who is the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers. So I kept hearing from Mr. Kabonu the facts that the resources being given in the classrooms are not enough and they are bad. But of course, he did say at a point that there's also a need to improve upon the teaching styles in the classroom. Malik, however, makes a point, and Malik has taught before. So he makes a point about how you can't give what you don't have. I want him to expand a bit on that, and Insure is in studio, anyone is in studio. We'll also be giving you the chance to comment. So you can send in your messages on 0244 340437 at Joy997 FM is the Twitter handle. Joy99.7 FM is the Facebook page. Hashtag JoySMS. Now, when it comes to claims payments, no one does it better than Enterprise Insurance. In the year 2018, they paid more than 53 million Ghana cedis in claims without blinking an eye to thousands of their customers. The same-day claim payments initiative for vehicles is incredible. Last year, more than 2 million Ghana cedis was paid to vehicle owners in under 45 minutes. So with Enterprise Insurance, when it comes to paying your claims, they don't just say it, they actually pay it. Enterprise Insurance, your advantage. Now, how many reasons do you need to watch DSTV? Is it the FA Cup magic that has been brought back, or the best leagues in Europe like the EPL, La Liga, Italian Serie A from live and in HD from Supersports, the home of football, wrestling, boxing, car racing, and tennis? What about the intriguing, fresh Ghanaian and international content like YOLO Season 2, Heels and Sneakers Season 2, or God Friended Me? And you cannot forget the kids' content on Disney Junior, CBeebies, and Nickelodeon. So get connected. SMS DSTV to 1731 for a fully installed Zappa HD decoder with 2 months complimentary DSTV access for 199 Ghana cedis, or call 0302 740540 or 0244 740540 for more information. Terms and conditions apply. DSTV. Feel every moment. Malik.
That you cannot give what you don't have. I mean, of course, this is a legal term which has to do with property title and all of that, but I'm just transporting it into the discussion to make the point that when you ask teachers to improve upon their skill of teaching, the quality of their teaching, my respectful opinion, if you are yourself a teacher taught in a particular way and you are a product of that method of teaching, it is next to impossible to expect that that person can change the way they were taught when they are teaching themselves. And I said the last time, when you go to training college, as part of processes of obtaining your Set A or your degree or your diploma with which you can teach, you do teaching practice. In the course of the teaching practice, everybody prepares their lesson notes. Everybody prepares their teaching learning materials with which to teach the lessons to achieve the objectives that they set in their lesson notes. Now, when people leave the classroom, in the time period that I taught, in a period of 3 years, I taught in 2 separate schools. And in those schools, I was virtually the only teacher who prepared lesson notes. And nobody else cared. Either the circuit supervisors or the headmaster or headmistress, they didn't care. And this problem does not obtain only in one school. It is a pervasive culture of disregard for the manner of teaching that will enhance teaching and learning. Beyond that, even the environment of teaching and learning, if you want to assess the proper state of our education system, just take a walk down the road and check the public primary schools in Accra. You will find that all of them are in a very deplorable state. The compounds are dusty, the buildings are tilted. The environment itself is not conducive to teaching and learning. And in many places, people are still using chalk. Do you remember my mom would chalk and my mom would check or china and those things?
Yeah.
Today, people are still using chalk. Chalk. We can't supply markers for teachers to teach in a relatively decent atmosphere. We still use chalk. So that when you dust off the chalk, the teacher's hand is all white. So the students are sitting there, they are wearing socks, and I'm not talking about real socks because the environment is dusty. They are walking and their feet are all white with sun and dust. And the teacher is using chalk, his hand is all dusty. In the classroom, that is where we teach today in 2019. So when you have an environment which itself is not conducive to teaching and learning, and this is a very pervasive condition across the country, you do not expect the people to do any better.
Okay.
And when you compound that by having a teacher who is using archaic, anachronistic method of teaching, which requires people to simply regurgitate the things that they have been taught, and they are measured on those things, and assessment is based on your ability to memorize and reproduce, then you have on your hands what we have. And Enimwa pointed out, the people do well in subjects that they can chew and reproduce. Where they are expected to think and apply, everybody is found struggling.
Insurance, so is it down to a question of resources, else we don't have a solution?
Thanks. I think it's a question of a lot of things. Resources are one of them. But I wouldn't say that we had resources in the 80s when I was in primary school. I wouldn't say that the situation has improved greatly. What has really exacerbated our situation is the decline in the quality and the passion of the kinds of teachers that we have. And I'll tell you this. I found myself in a school called the Collegono Methodist Primary School. That's where I got my foundation. I will not say that it was bad, because we were encouraged to read. We had teachers who had patience for us, who were passionate about our own development. You don't have that today, and let's not kid ourselves. Teachers are more you have people who are entering teacher training because they couldn't really go down the path that they thought they should, so they end up teaching with little passion. Malik was just saying, do you think if a head teacher was passionate, the head teacher wouldn't be going around to check that teachers actually did prepare to teach the children? So when people lack passion, then there's no checks and balances. The other thing that I haven't heard us talk about is the involvement of parents themselves. Their child is yours, your primary responsibility before they even go to school. How many parents are really vested in the development of their children? They pay their school fees and they expect that the school will do the magic. My mother, when I got into secondary school, Form 1, my highest marks in mathematics by third term was 9.5%. Right? My mom could not teach me the mathematics at secondary school, but she could tell that I was failing. And so she mobilized extended family and said, this boy is not passing his math. Sit with him, find out what the problem is. And it all came down to focusing on practicing. And I had my Uncle Willie call me in and say, okay, so now after school, you come to the shop, right? And they run this big shop where they made lots of haberdashery and overlocking and knitting and all of these things. And my job was to hide under his table while he was working and work and practice and practice. I'll tell you, that was the magic trick. My practice and focus changed from the 9.5% actually in term 2 to term 3, where I got 62%. I'll never forget.
And like a quantum leap, isn't it?
Oh, it was more than a quantum leap. It was a miracle.
The point about the parents, and I agree with you, parents have a very important role to play. But in every society, you do not leave the responsibility to the parents. How can a head teacher teach or preside over a school in which the students are perennially failing and that person still keeps their job? Who does that? There's no system where you are supposed to lead a system. The system is not delivering results, and yet you keep your job.
You know,
It does not happen.
point you're
so
making.
why have we built an education system in which whether or not the outcomes of education are achieved, the persons whose duty it is to ensure that particular outcome come, they keep their jobs?
But you see, Malik, the point you're just making is actually a reflection of several sectors of our society. That we do not take remedial steps to end situations, correct them. I mean, sad incident over the weekend, flight ET 302 going down. China decides that, hang on, we're grounding all of these. And there's a ripple effect around the world. Societies that want to improve do not sit around and wait for catastrophe. They sit around and say, at the slightest sign of a potential disruption to the plans we have, we will take action. Auditor General's report from Kwame Nkrumah's days is reporting the same 5 categories of failure. We still have only up until recently started surcharging and disallowing.
Great.
We have had students consistently fail to enter law school. There has not been a great watershed moment where we say, we need to really look at this thing and start considering reforms if indeed that's what's required. We have people die of cholera every year. It's a perennial situation. People die of flooding. It is a reflection of a society that is okay with where it is and happy to talk about going somewhere when it really isn't.
But isn't that mindset starting from the individual? Where
it is not necessarily.
As long as your children are doing well, it seems to not be a problem. Okay, I want to open the phone lines. I'll let you answer that, but I want you to open the phone lines. Do you have an experience to share on police brutality? Do you feel safe in the streets of Ghana? Tell me, what can we do to reverse this trend of failure? So there are 2 questions for you. 0302-216-541, 0244-340-437. Malik,
and then let me make this point before I forget. When you were talking to Mr. Angel Carbon, he made a point about the difficulty with teaching people at the senior high school level who may have had a poor foundation, and when they come to senior high school, no matter what you do, it's difficult to change them. I agree with him, but I also disagree. If you are a great teacher and your skills are on point and your methods are great, you can change a lot even at the senior high school, even at the university level.
I totally
agree. You can change a lot. I do not agree that if you have a poor maths foundation, that nothing can be done at the senior high school level. If our methods are great, we can change a lot. So whilst it is absolutely crucial that we give people a great foundation, and it is sad that our foundation is so poor, that at the senior high level, we can do a lot. So I do not expect that he should throw his hands in the air and say, well, they sent to us at the senior high school level people with poor background in mathematics and science, and therefore we can do very little. I don't agree. I agree with him that at the basic level, we must do more.
Okay, I'm going to take my first caller. He's calling from Kaswa. His name is Kwesi. Good morning, Kwesi.
Good morning, Daniel.
Great. I understand you're a teacher.
Yes.
Great. So where do you think the problem is starting from?
The problem is bigger than just blaming somebody. The factors that determine performance lies on so many factors. One, the student himself, teaching. Resources, very important thing. So I thumbs up Angel when he mentions resources. And then you can talk about the stakeholders. And then parenting. Put all these factors together and we'll get good outcomes of education. I agree with Malik when he says we can't allow head teachers to sit there while people continue to fail. But if the resources are not given to the head teacher, for the head teacher to mix to get a good outcome, how do we arrive at a good outcome? And so the problem of education is big. And it's about time we do something. Look, in coming September, we are entering into introducing a new curriculum. How are we working towards the introduction of this new curriculum? We are all silent. Nobody knows about it. By September, the ministry will come out. Look, we are doing this curriculum. How are teachers prepared to receive this new curriculum? You see, so again, let me agree with Angel. The concept of teaching in this country is wrong. I think that we are focusing too much on right or wrong answers.
Thank you very much, Kwesi, for calling us from Kaswa. He's a teacher. Jerry is also on the line. He wants to comment on the education story. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Great. So what can we do to reverse this trend of failure?
Well, I decided to call into the program to first touch on you interviewing or having a word with the NAGRAD officer, and that's of your co-worker at the studio. Now, I don't agree with most of the things you people are talking about, because the basic problem is with the system that the Ghana Education Service itself has set for educating people in the classroom. I'm not a trained teacher. I'm a polytechnic graduate. I have taught for 4 years under government institution, and I decided to quit simply because the system itself doesn't help you, the teacher, to do what is great. Let me give you a simple scenario here. Go to most of the new private schools that are sparkling out. They are using mere SHS teachers or students who have completed SHS to teach in these preparatory schools. And the kids are performing simply because of the language background, English. Okay? But when you come to the government schools, teachers are even forced to use the Ghanaian language. Therefore, how do you expect that kid to be able to translate or get proper interpretation of whatever he or she is being taught?
Thank you very much, Jerry, for calling us from on this issue. Nana Kwame is calling us from Airport City. Good morning, Nana Kwame.
Good morning.
Great. Nana Kwame, let's hear you.
Daniel, the best teacher of them all, cannot teach from outside the curriculum. And I think that's where our problem is. We have a new educational system. That's good. There are so many good things out of that. But we should go pick out a few of the things from our old school. We had a verbal aptitude.
Hello, Nana.
Hello?
Yes, you were breaking at a point. Can you repeat that point you were making again?
Okay. So I was saying that when I was in basic school, you had to pass aptitude tests to be able to get into high school. And this prepared you to start thinking logically.
Unfortunately, we seem to have lost Nana Kwame. He called from Airport City. Isaac is calling from Bekwai, Ashanti, or you want to say Ashanti Bekwai, I'm sure. Good morning, Isaac.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Is it Ishak or it's Isaac?
Ishak. I'm a Muslim.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ishak.
Yes,
let's hear you.
All right. Hello.
You're on air, Ishak.
Yeah, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Ishak.
But I'm very happy that today I've got an opportunity to speak to you, Dazi. I want to congratulate you for the good work you are doing, you and Dabo. I'm a teacher. I teach in a secondary school called Kogu Secondary School. And, Master, let's look at our curriculum. Our curriculum is not helping us at all. I had the opportunity to attend a workshop with ITT from UK. Master, within 1 month, what I learned there as a teacher, I didn't get that at the university. That tells you why those people are progressing and we are lagging behind. And if you look at how they taught me practically how to use, microscope, how to prepare slides within 1 month, I tell you, I was a full-baked teacher. How to use the computer to teach certain things using graphs to allow students to use their mind. My brother, I didn't get that even at the university where I was being trained as a teacher. And I want to say that let us also be careful. Our concentration is on the SSS. But if the children from the basic school are bad, there is nothing we can do at the SSS. Let us look at this pre-SHS. It is bringing students with aggregate 49 in my school. We are taking 49, 40, and the rest. My brother, a student that has come to do science cannot read and write good myself. What kind of method do you expect the teacher to use to bring such students to a line?
Ishak, very important questions you're asking there. William Cecil says, Daniel Insura is very right about those who branch to training colleges, most especially those who also couldn't make the O-level grade to enter the 6th form. Malik is my LLB mate. He's right too. Greet him for me. All right. Kofi is calling from Ridge. Good morning, Kofi.
Good morning. How are you, Dan?
I am blessed. Kofi, how are you?
I'm also blessed by the
Let's
powers
hear
of
you.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's so sad that we have been this discussion about education. You know, education standards are falling due to certain numbers that we have in our classrooms. Because education has become free now, you see that you go to a school and we have about 95 to 96 pupils in a class in Accra here. And you are expecting one teacher to teach them and to have that attention for each one of them like we had during our time. In fact, it may not work unless we look at it again. Building a cathedral and improving our schools and our trees and other things, I think let's compare it and think again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling us. Ike is on the line from Kaswa. Good morning, Ike.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm also a teacher. I teach at a senior high school.
Nice.
But I did my studies 2013, 2015 in Adenta.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was investigating on was more of how we deliver the curriculum. So I went to, and in Adenta we have 150 schools, basic schools, registered basic schools. But the private schools were more than the public schools. And what I noticed when I went on was that the placement of students in the classrooms were enormous. All right. And the teaching methods that are in the curriculum tells you to do more of activity-based. But here is the case, a teacher taking over 80 or 70 students in her class, even a space for her to walk in the classrooms to check their work it was impossible, someone would say. It was impossible. So she was having issues with the kind of teaching methods she would use. And at the end of my studies, what I did was this. When the foundation is terrible, is bad, the transition from one level of education to the another becomes an enigma. So you are having issues from one transition to the other, and the students are struggling. Just like Ishak said, in my school, we have students offering science with aggregate 40-something. And they can't even read. You put notes on the blackboard. Some of us are still using the whiteboard and then the blackboard and the chalk alongside. And you go around to check the notes they are taking, and trust me, it's crazy. She can't read, so you need to spend time to teach her how to even put sentences together. And this student is offering either science or business management. So you see, it is coming from the foundation. So if the foundation is not good, you are going to have issues all the way to tertiary.
Thank you very much, Ikia. You called us from Kaswa. I have on the line Professor Sichope Anku. He's an educationist, a world-acclaimed mathematician, and he has called in from Lashibi. Good morning, Prof. Thanks for calling us.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
I am blessed, Prof.
Yeah.
Yes. So in the first place, why do you think the WASSCE graduates are failing science and mathematics?
It's very unfortunate it is happening. And I've talked several times about these issues. And I offer solution to the failures. I have an academy, Migasa Mathematics Academy. Your reporters several times have come here. They come to see what we do. It's, hands-on, activity-based mathematics learning. That's what we do. And that's what I've done to win a prize 2018 for WASSCE Teacher Award. So nobody is interested in what I do in Ghana. But when students come here, they excel. When they come here, they excel. I've taken students from 3 weeks, 3 months to, get A, from F to A in mathematics. We have been training teachers. Teachers who have come to me have expressed the desire that what they have learned here is helping their schools. Schools were getting 0%, but when they came to me, they started getting 100%. So what's happening?
So, Prof, what's changed with these students? These students who went from failing to passing, what's changed?
They understood mathematics better. Because they say one thing is that students don't read for conceptual understanding of mathematics. And we don't relate mathematics to real life. Mathematics is like theory from space. But we can relate, because mathematics study is the study of everyday things we do. If you recognize that, and we teach in the classroom, we get the students to relate their concepts to real life. Pythagoras theorem, a squared plus c squared, plus b squared to c squared. So what? If you don't relate it to the mason's work, the carpenter's work, to see how it is being used, we don't see the benefits. And students, when they are doing hands-on activity-based lessons, they enjoy it better. If you go to my Facebook page, Migasa Mathematics Academy, you go to Facebook page and you see live what students have been doing for several years. But why are they not making this thing? Why? We have trained people who have confessed they understand it better. The teachers are doing better. Why don't you bring them here for training? Why? We are always talking. I've been hearing you people talk. Do you realize that? You see, it's all about unemployment. Mathematics is sending 99,000 people to the unemployment market every year. Last year, 99,000 failed core mathematics. Because they failed core mathematics, they couldn't continue. They've gone to the job market. They can't do anything. We must go back to the basics. Go back to the basics and train people well to understand the mathematics. That's what we do. If you have chance, come and visit my academy. I'm inviting you. Come,
I will. Come. I will. Thank you very much, Prof. Sichope Anku, for joining us this morning. Samuel from WASSCE has been on the line for a minute. Samuel, thanks very much for your patience.
Okay.
Yes. Are you commenting on the education story?
Yes.
Great. Let's hear you.
Yeah. All the factors, all the things that people are saying are great. But to me, the little checks I've done, why itself is contributing to the failures.
How?
You know, students today, especially at the SHS, they know that when they go to exams, they will get help. Because of that, they don't learn. And you know, if a student even listen to radio or something, they will get something to answer social studies questions. But what about mathematics? What about science? You need to sit down and learn. But you know what? Today, supervisors and invigilators go to examination centers with mobile phones, smartphones. But they just open the pack. Some schools have arranged with them already. They will just take a snapshot, send it. They solve it after that, they send it back. Students are ready to pay. And WAEC is aware. When they send external examiners around, those people, when they even get the students, they get money from them. And they don't care.
Those are some serious allegations, Samuel.
I'm not allegation. I'm a teacher myself. I've taught for over 22 years.
Oh, so this is something you've seen?
I've seen. And if you want, maybe after the program, I can call in and give you evidence that I can even direct you to examination centers when it's time for examination, BEC, what do you call it, WASSCE, and you get. In fact, I've been sending you messages. I don't know whether you read.
Okay, let's remedy that today. Just hold on and speak to Papaya, okay?
It's very pathetic. WAEC is so relaxed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Samuel. The line itself is becoming unclear. Kwache is calling from West Legon, Westlands. Good morning, Kwache.
Good morning.
Great, let's hear you.
Okay, right. I want to comment.
We are getting some feedback on this end. Sorry, please turn off your radio.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but your radio is on. Please turn it off.
Okay. Please hold on a moment for me.
Right, Kwache is calling us from West Legon, commenting on the story of education.
Can you hear me now? Is it okay?
Great. It's okay now. Let's hear you.
Thank you. My issue had to do with the education. And we all know that the system of this world is changing, and it will continue to change. So if you compare the times of our parents, their level of education, to today, that we are saying that things have improved, technology has come and all that. You can see that when our parents even speak their language, their English language, they speak better English than what we do. Arithmetic, English, history, and the geography, other aspects. What I find difficult in our system is that we compound so much on these ones that we are teaching.
Okay.
I remember very well when I was once a trainee teacher. We had a teacher from the VSO, the Volunteer Service Organization from.
Okay.
He came purposely to teach what we call math methods, how to introduce children, primary level students, into this math subject. We asked her if she could solve any problem concerning math content. We have math content and we have math methodology.
Mm-hmm.
And she went to the university to learn only math methods. If you should take Pythagoras theory or any other theories in this math, she wouldn't be able to help you. And I tell you what, with the math method that she taught us when we were in the training college in the 90s, all of us who she handled, we passed all the math methods, but most in math content. So the issue as the NAGRAT representative came to talk about
teaching style, isn't it?
Come again?
Teaching style and resources.
Exactly, teacher style and teaching.
Thank you very much for calling us. I'm going to take my last caller now. It's Yaya from Tamale. Good morning, Yaya. Hi, Yaya. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, let's hear you.
Good morning, and good morning to our listeners. Thank you for having me. In fact, I also want to contribute something to the program that we are discussing there. It's very interesting. It's very good for us. Ghana, I don't understand how we are heading towards to. It's like this our vocational system side. If we could have focused on if we could have put much effort on that. Myself, in fact, I have completed a vocational school. But do you know what happened? After completing the school, I have to go back and join a master shop to train me well before I can come out with my own business. Ghana is like, in fact, sometimes you can go to the vocational schools and realize that the material that I'm going to use for practical is not there. Of course, it happened to us the time when I was at the Bobba Secondary School there. Sometimes, in fact, three happen that you have a carpentry practical. When you go there, the master will not be found or no material because of the new material. But the master will not sit down. So I ask myself this question: if our government or our leaders to have focused on how to provide material for every vocational school, so that these our future leaders, master. In fact, we are talking this week. By the time we are in fact, their time will pass, and we the youth are going to handle the Ghana. How can we head towards if we don't have anything in hand?
Wow, yeah, that's a very, very thought-provoking question there. It's 20 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take the last break. And when we come back, there are so many of your messages, so many of your tweets here, pages and pages of them. I'll read a couple before we go on to that break. We have a teacher who teaches ICT and doesn't have a computer, but draws and imagines things. How are the students in his class going to compete with students in Morning Star and Christ the King? H.R. Bismarck there. Okay. A number of messages here from you that we are going to read. Imrante Hine says, what are the qualities of an Attorney General Health Minister? But why, or the qualifications of an Attorney General Health Minister, etc. But why is it that when it comes to education, they just appoint anybody to occupy that seat and waiting for the day a non-lawyer will be approved to be the Attorney General? Well, Imrante Hine, with respect to a health minister, we have a health minister who is not a health professional now. That is Kwekwaji Mamenu. He's actually an accountant. He's not a health professional. So, and interestingly, we have an education minister who is a medical doctor. Who some would say is doing quite well. Ghana, we are not dealing with quality education, hence the results explain themselves. Isaac Opoku tweeting at us there. A lot more of your tweets, a lot more of your messages here. Nima will read a number of them. I'll read a few of them myself when we come back.
If you buy gold, you will save money because gold lasts longer. If you paint your house gold, it will shine brighter because gold withstands all the elements and gold protects you from microbial growth. And it's washable. And contrary to common belief, gold comes in every color your heart desires. So, invest in gold premium acrylic paints the next time you want to paint your house. Highly washable, long-lasting, with a wide range of products from acrylic paints to enamels, primers, stuccos, and more, all engineered to the highest international standards. Protect your home. Invest in gold.
I am Dr. Acacia. Acacia gives your workers the best customer service and treatment options when the need arises, keeping them healthier and more productive for your business. Acacia Health Insurance. We place value on those you value.
Hello, Corporate Ghana. It's the 4th Ghana CEO Summit, a unique two-day world-class business conference to be held on the 20th and 21st of May, 2019 at Kempinski. Theme: Futuristic Economy, Technology-Driven Future of Business and Governance for Economic Transformation. This summit has been a real success and has attracted over 1,500 dignitaries, including His Excellency, President Nana Akufo-Addo. For registration and sponsorship, visit GhanaCEOSummit.com or call 054-639-1970. Powered by CEO Network Ghana and Deloitte.
Hey, Sammy. Yeah, brother. I say yesterday, you do some magic way. I shock.
What's happened?
Yeah, yesterday, the money go take pay for your hospital bill self. Charlie was a problem. As me, I did there, the worry. Oh, I didn't put his phone, dial something. Where I follow him go the MTN store opposite the hospital. He spoke to the iOS send with care staff and he came out with 600 Ghana cedis in his mobile money wallet to sort the hospital bill, my brother.
What? Are you send with care?
Yeah.
Why? It be sponsor.
Remember the 200 Ghana cedis he sent to